better, to be honest, better than this week, but the week has passed, and now I'm here. I didn't do a stream last week because I wasn't feeling too well, because I just had a tooth out. After it had got cracked, I had to have it removed. So I've got a great gaping, it's just there. But in the preceding, is it preceding? In the days that came after that, I was trying to nurse my tooth, and I thought I wasn't feeling too good last week, so I had a little lie down. I had a couple of early nights, and then on Tuesday, so the rest of the week, I've been sort of indisposed. To be honest, I've mostly spent this whole week lying in bed going, oh, I'm very tired. I let you decide why, but the usual thing that's going around, the usual thing that everyone else has got, it's taken 2 years, but it happened. It happened, and then it went. So it wasn't too bad, but while it was there, I was just very tired, and I'm on a liquid diet because of the tooth. So it's been So I haven't done a lot, but quite a lot's happened. It's been a week. And also, since the tooth got taken out, my teeth have sort of moved across, which isn't a bad thing. And also, they used to be sort of a bit, my mouth didn't close properly. And now I've realised that without that one there, they do close properly. So my mouth is looking different. So I'm looking different. I'm feeling like I'm looking different. I'm maybe not, but it's just, and you can't see it missing because it's just out of view, but it's definitely is. And these teeth that have always been a little bit wonky are sort of already moved along. And I never had quite enough room for my wisdom teeth or these teeth. These sort of, that was my first tooth that grew in, and then these ones didn't have enough room to move. So they were a little bit wonky. So hopefully they are going to even out. And maybe my wisdom teeth have now got time to move. And anyway, I'm back to work tomorrow. And I haven't really been in work this week for all the reasons above. And it's been, So I didn't know why I was tired. But then I did. Yep. So, how have you been? Has everybody been fine? Good evening, Terry. How has everyone been? It's been a thing. So I was just watching a film on Prime, which is called the Goldwyn Follies from 1938. I thought I was looking for like a nice musical or something to watch before, that was short enough before this live stream, because I was definitely going to do this live stream. I thought, that looks jolly. Why haven't I heard of it? It quickly became apparent it's not a very good film. To be honest, I think it's in one of the worst films, 50 worst films ever made book. And it's probably not I wouldn't say it's the worst film ever made. It's just like, what is this thing? Why is this thing? It's got the Ritz Brothers, who I'd heard of but hadn't seen, and Charlie McCarthy and Edgar Bergen, who are, he was a radio ventriloquist, if you can imagine, and you can definitely see his lips move in this motion picture, which makes me realise that radio ventriloquist was quite the best place for him. People make fun of a radio ventriloquist, but what's the point of that? It's like, well, when you can see that many lips move, you know what the point of that is. And it was very strange, because quite early on, he started doing a bit where he was talking to his dummy like this. This is Charlie McCarthy. And my ventriloquist skills are going to be exactly the same. So he's like, Charlie, yes, well, he didn't have his, hello, we're gonna kiss each other. What? Am I gonna kiss you? Yes, we're gonna kiss each other. Why would I kiss you, Charlie McCarthy? Because, make love to me. And it's like, what? This Edgar Bergen was having this bit where he was talking to Charlie McCarthy about kissing him, and it was like, is this a real thing? What is going on? I don't know whether you've ever seen Soap, the comedy Soap, where there's one of the brothers, long lost brothers, comes back, and he's got a ventriloquist dummy, and he treats it Chuck, and he treats it like one of the family, and everyone has to pretend that it's a Yeah, it's creepy because he's just like trying to get into motion pictures, and even though you're aware that this is attached to his hand, I mean, you can't see his hand in the way that you, this is more creepy, to be honest, because this is more like a horror movie type thing, but you can imagine, my name is Charlie McCarthy. Yes, my name is Charlie McCarthy. Can you see my lips move? Well, if you can, then I'm no worse than Ingrid Bergman was, and if you can't, well, wow, I'm such an amazing ventriloquist. A ventriloquist of all things. I'm a ventriloquist now. My name is Charlie McCarthy. I'm gonna miss you. Anyway. Enough said of that, the better. The other people in it, there was somebody that's listed on Wikipedia as being Norwegian, but is actually from Germany, that had a Russian name, even though she was none of these things, and she was, I think she was the original choice for something that Ingrid Bergman was, replaced her with some sort of, yeah, I'm not sure what it was, but it was not The Old Man and the Sea. Something that Ingrid Bergman was in, that was the Ernest Hemingway thing. She was supposed to be in that, but they sacked her after 3 weeks. And then she was in Hollywood for 7 years and made 7 films, which isn't an awful lot. And I'd never heard of her. It was Valerie, or I don't even know what her name was. I've just seen her. And then somebody else, that's somebody Lise, Amanda, Amelia. I don't know. Adolphe Monjou, who I had heard of but hadn't really seen in anything. The Ritz Brothers, though, it's like they were one was slightly chubbier than the other, but the three of them very similar looking people, and just talking all at the same time, so just shouting at people, and it's like, I looked them up, and apparently their fans compared them with the Marx Brothers, but the Marx Brothers are very different in character and don't all speak at once and shout at each other. Very close together. There's like 3 of them here, and they're like, it's just very similar faces. The middle one was chubbier, had a bit more hair, but apart from that, they just shouty, shout. Yes, so I wasn't impressed with that. And then there was somebody called Kenny Baker, who, if you look him up on Wikipedia, this character, a picture of Kenny Baker is there, but not the Kenny Baker that's sort of a crooner, light operatic singer, not the Kenny Baker they've got the R2D2 Kenny Baker listed on when you look it up on Wikipedia, on Google. Google's not very good because they get things wrong a lot, and I obviously, because it's just there. It's just not. Kenny Baker, who played R2D2, is not in this film. He's a very different person, very different. Anyway, I do not recommend this film. I do not recommend it in a jam. I do not recommend it. It's lots of hams. I do not recommend it anywhere. I'm going to play C, A, and E for us. I might even do a G. G, I did something else. A, C, and I might do that one, and then I might do some sort of D, if I can remember it. And then I will do that for you. I will do lots of things for you. I will do whatever I want to do. And I might even do that, but it's gonna go flat because my nails are very long because I've been in bed all week and I haven't trimmed them. I might do lots of things, but I do not recommend to see Golden Follies. It is very long and it's not very good. But then neither am I, and I'm not very long either. But I might be longer than I really should. But one good thing about it is the last film that George and Ira Gershwin did as a pair, as a partnership, before George Gershwin sadly passed, and he passed before he got to see the film, which I think is a relief for him. It's very sad that it happened, but I think if he'd seen the film, he'd have gone, no, why did I work on that? That is not very good. And there's also an opera singer in it who's quite a good opera singer, Helen something or other. But I've just changed the Wikipedia page because it said on it that she's renowned for being a blonde beauty or something, and it's like, what? And the citation that it linked to didn't exist. So it's like, well, she's blonde and she's pretty enough, but it's a blonde beauty in inverted commas, as if it's a quote from the citation that doesn't exist. It's like, no, that's not on. You can't just say things on Wikipedia and say that they have got citations when they haven't. It's not very well resourced. And I got a whole Wikipedia page that I had that was well resourced, and it got taken down. So Jepsen, that's her name, Helen Jepsen. Not Helen Jetson, Helen Jepsen. And she was an opera singer, and she was in this, and it was already filmed because they don't make many opera films, which it says in the Wikipedia, but it's not cited. So there's no citation. Citated? That can't be the right. It's not cited. There is no citation. Yes, flats and sharps. No. Oh, I don't know what one that is. No citation for Helen Jepsen. Helen Jepsen. Yeah. So this whole week I've just been lying there, not really doing very much, feeling very sorry for myself, going, oh, my teeth. So I was considering saving up the £2,000 to get a tooth implant, but then I thought, I'll see whether my teeth shift a little bit. They're not going to close up, I don't think they are. So now I've only got 31 teeth. 31 teeth, is that all you've got in your head? Yes, I've only got 31 teeth, which is quite a lot of teeth to have in your head, especially when you haven't got enough room for them, because this one here goes all the way out. As soon as it got out, I could see a difference in my jawline, because I think it was taking up quite a lot of room. Now, I've never been happy with my profile. I think it's a little bit better than it was, to be honest. Not perfect, and also I've lost a little bit of weight, so I may be a little bit sort of saggy and jaggy, and is that a thing? But my face almost immediately changed as soon as the tooth came out, and the teeth in the back that have not got enough room, they're not impacted, but they're all the way up, like into the wrong place. So hello, that's all right, Philip. I think that with any luck they'll move down and fill the space. But then they'll be all jaggedy. I don't know what to. I'm very conscious of it at the moment. It's just, I can just feel it. It's still in the process of healing, and I've asked loads of different people what their experiences are, and none of them seem to have the same sort of experience as each other. So I'm really not sure. It just feels weird. It's just trying to get you. I think Philip said something about your bite profile's different. And I was like, oh, I'll be all right. Yeah, no, I'm glad I'm well. But yeah, I'm fine. The last 2 days, I've just been fine. I took tests and I went downstairs and it was very exciting. It was like, whoa, the outside world again. Do bits get stuck in the space? Well, no, because I'm only having liquid and soft foods and eating on this side of my mouth. So far nothing's got stuck in the teeth because I haven't been eating anything that could get stuck in the teeth, and I've been very carefully not eating it on that side. I've also lost about 1 stone in weight since my tooth cracked. I'm not sure that's a good thing or a bad thing. It's a thing. It means also that my face shape has changed in a different way. So not only have I lost weight on my face, I've lost teeth on my face. And when I was a child, from one moment to the next, my face shape would change drastically. I mean, I'd look in the mirror and I'd be like, well, it's like this bit here, my chin. Sometimes I've got a pointy chin and sometimes I haven't. Like earlier on, like 2 days ago, it was a lot more pointy there. And then it stopped being pointy. But it used to do that all the time. Like, I'm a shapeshifter. I'm a shape-shifting shapeshifter. And now my teeth fit together. Right? You can't see it, yeah? They actually fit together. Whereas before they were just like that. Like there was a big gap between them. So I'm not sure what happened there. It was a big tooth. There's a big gap. And the tooth is horrible. stinky, horrible, and I think that they filled it wrong, because when I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, well, the filling's very big, and it's one of the old-fashioned ones that's made out of amalgam, and the mercury might have been leaking into the root, because the root was definitely broken, and it was all nasty, and I don't think they'd filled it properly in the first place, and I'm pretty sure that I heard when they were doing it that I think that the tooth that was before it got taken out, because I had all sorts of problems with teeth before I was even the age of 5, and I don't know why. I used to look after them. We did nothing wrong with my teeth, but for some reason it had to be taken out, and I think when they took it out, they damaged the one that was coming through, so they almost immediately had to fill it, and it's been a mess and a mess ever since, and I've had headaches since about the age of 3 or 4, and I wondered why. I don't think I'm going to not get any headaches anymore, but I've had all sorts of like digestive problems and headaches and all sorts of stuff for my entire life, and wondered why. Now, even in the midst of the other thing this week, the other thing, the nameless thing that everybody's had now, and which I have now had, so I don't feel left out. I wasn't going to feel left out. I didn't want it anyway, but I've had it now, and it wasn't too bad. Hopefully, that's it now. But even in the midst of that, I wasn't feeling as ill and horrible as I usually did all the time, for most of the time in the preceding. So I'm wondering, with all the mercury and badness, was just licking into my system, and whether my whole life, which has been pretty rubbish, has been just ruined by this terrible mercury-laden nasty tooth. Probably not. Probably it's my own making, all the terrible stuff that happened. It's my own fault. But I sometimes do weird things and act strangely and go, why was I like that? And maybe it was my tooth. Maybe it was the mercury. Or maybe I was getting because I've heard stories about people getting signals through their tooth, radio signals. Maybe I was getting those. Maybe that was what was happening. That wasn't happening. Anyway, I'm hopeful that I'm not going to get as many headaches and digestive problems now. But who knows? But it hasn't healed yet, because it's... Anyway, I was going to save £2,000 to get a new one put in, but I'm going to see what happens, I think. And maybe still, but let's see what happens, really. Anything could happen. And I'm not going to Edinburgh this year, but I have applied for a digital show, very much like last year. Do you remember last year? I did the whole show from my parents' house. Well, I'm going to do that again this year, I think. I'll go to visit my parents, and I've got slightly better internet there now. Maybe not brilliant, but maybe slightly more stable, so I can get away with doing more stuff. And I'll do that again this year. So I'll have an Edinburgh show, and it's going to be called What Is It This Time? Because it was what is it you want last time? So what is it this time? And it'll be very much the same. Yes, exactly. I'm like the lion with the thorn pulled out of its claw. That's exactly right. Thank you, Keon. Yeah, so look. You can hardly see on paw, yeah, out of his claw or paw, yeah, it didn't have it in its claw, it's in its paw. And if I smile really big, you can tell that I've got a missing tooth. A little bit. So I won't smile really big, but I smile differently now anyway, because the whole alignment of my jaw's gone different. It's like, see there, because that tooth was overlapping, and it's already moved. Yeah, definitely my teeth have gone different. Thank you. Nice teeth, the ones that are left. I'm going to have to look after them now. I've also got a filling, which I'm a bit worried about. The filling, I don't think they did it very well, because I was picking bits of filling out the inside. I couldn't get the dental floss through the bit in the side, and I get bits of teeth coming out, like the drillings. I mean, when they did it, they said, do you want to rinse your mouth? And I just, I was just like, no, I'm all right. I should have obviously said yes, because why wouldn't I rinse my mouth out? But I was slightly groggy from the anaesthetic and just having a fill-in and drilled into me and having a tooth out. So instead of going, yes, I think I should probably rinse out the bits of tooth and filling that you've left in my mouth, I went, no, I'm all right. So then for days afterwards, it was like, what's going on? It's just, I had to get, because shortly afterwards, other things on my mind. So when I finally got the dental floss in, I was like, I was like, is my tooth going to come apart? Whatever. It was right, because it was just gummed up. So I'm a little bit worried that my front teeth have moved because it had pulled it, like my one tooth had been glued to the tooth next to it. It's a very poor job, to be honest, considering I had to pay for my dental treatment because I couldn't get the national health. It wasn't cheap. I spent all my money on dental treatment and then had a mouthful of bits of tooth and whatever it is that it was a white filling at least, but it's just all over the place. It wasn't an amalgam. So I've got less mercury. I've still got a mercury filling there. It's not like I'm mercury free now. But I got less because there's a little bit, I think. I don't think there's as much filling in the one that's left. But there's this one. The main problem, I think, was that it was probably cracked for the last years. I had it when I was about 7 or 8, this filling. So for every year afterwards, and I think it was probably on the verge of cracking for that whole time, and probably leaking the mercury from the beginning. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, so I spent money in order to have bits of tooth everywhere. So hopefully it's gonna, I don't know how long that these things take to fix themselves. Hopefully soon. And also it was very badly. Because for the last 2 years, it's been a problem. It's just like, I think I might have a chip out of, this is grim and gory, but I think that my jaw might be slightly, the bone might be slightly chipped as well, and still is, because I'm like, is that bone? I don't know. And I think that might have been the problem in the first place. Anyway, it was a horrible tooth, and there was all nastiness. They had to dig the stuff out. This is horrible and gory, isn't it? I'm going to tell you anyway. They had to dig it all out and clean it all up, and hopefully it's not going to have the same problems. But then I was thinking with the other thing that's coming, and I was reading into it, I thought, would that cause, because that's an underlying condition, isn't it? And I was like, if you've got the mess it was, if it was still there and I'd got the thing, would that have been a bad thing? And I think it would be. So it's probably in the nick of time when you think about it, even though I'm like, boo-hoo, my tooth, oh, la, la, la. If any time in the last 2 years when there's been another problem with it, if I'd got what I got this week before that, then it could have been a very, very much worse scenario. So, yeah, you have to count your blessings and whatever, don't you? Yeah. Even if you're not religious or anything, you've got to go, well, it could have been worse. Pragmatically, it could have been a lot worse. So it's probably just as well. Yeah, so I've got 2 people watching me, it says. Is there more than 2 people? I know that Keon and Philip were here. Has everybody else gone? There were other people here. Where was it? I could come to top chat, live chat. So who else was here? Bohem, yeah. Hello, Bohem. And Spinach 66 and yes, and Terry. So there was more than 2 people. I've driven you all away by talking about my... Oh, hello, you're still here. By talking... Yeah, mercury is really bad. Yeah. I don't know why they still do mercury. So if I'd gone on the national health, which I couldn't anyway, because I couldn't get in it, and it needed to be dealt with quickly, and I couldn't get... if I'd have gone on that national health, I did eventually find somebody that had take me on, but they wouldn't have seen me until next month. By which time... Who knows? Because it was an urgent case, but they wouldn't see me. So I had to pay for it. But if I went on the National Health for the filling, then they would put more amalgam in it with the mercury in it. And I'm not sure what, it's not healthy, is it? National, not health, that is. So whereas if you go private, then it was semi-private, then they tend to put the whatever it is that they put that's not mercury. It's probably something just as bad in the long run, and it'll turn out to be something awful. And I'm a bit worried it's already all fallen out, because I'm like, yeah, because quite a lot of it was like bits of tooth and stuff coming out. I was like, is it still there? So maybe it isn't. Maybe, because they only last for 6 or 7 years, and my other filling was a lot longer than 6 or 7 years. Fuji 9, is that what they put in your filling? I don't know. Anyway, so all in all, even though there's been a lot happening, there's pretty bad this week. It turned out for the best, probably. And my face is different. Somebody said I look 10 years younger than the last time they'd seen me. And they hadn't seen me for 15 years. So I look 25 years younger than I did 15 years ago. Now that can't be right. If I look 25 years younger now, but if I look 10 years younger than I did 15 years ago, that must be the case. Yeah, I've lost with the filling goes, yeah. It was holding me back, that filling. It was holding me back, that whole stupid, horrible tooth. I would show it you, but it's horrible and I can't remember where it is. And it probably wouldn't show up probably on the camera. And it's horrible. It's just instant like, whoa. Like, I don't want to be banned from YouTube by showing you something that horrific. It broke. It broke in 3 pieces. I didn't say that, did it? It broke while they were taking it out because it was already chipped. I knew that there was a hole in it. I knew that it had, but it was cracked all the way down to the root. I did put a little video about it, but it was just, it was bad. It's in a little sort of sterilized baggy thing, and so it's sealed. And I went, whoa, it's nasty. So I'm glad that that's out, really, because it was horrible. I mean, it would have been nice if it hadn't been bad and chipped and full of mercury and full of filling that looked horrible. It would have been nice to have kept it if all those things. If that, then, you know, basic program, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, go to, nice to. But it wasn't. Does it start bleeding? Not now, because it's healing, but it was. All sorts, whatever you can imagine, all the worst things were happening to it in the 2 years since it started acting up. And the fact I was like, I couldn't get to the dentist anyway because of the situation in the world, but I probably should have done, really, because it could have probably got me at any time. And I'm thinking, I'm very lucky in many ways because that's not something that you want for 2 years. Really, in your body, and the whole thing with the mercury, that's not something you want for all those years in the body. So it's like, yeah, it's probably best it's not there. Although I am sad that I don't have a tooth there. I'm not sad that I don't have that tooth there. If I had a very much nicer tooth there, I would be a lot sadder. But as I say, maybe they'll move into place. Somebody said that they had a canine tooth removed, which is a little bit smaller than this, and it closed up. And as I said, I've got a lot of teeth that haven't got enough room, so I don't know how it works. They'll probably go all higgledy-piggledy. You'll probably see me next week, and they'll all be like, there's all my teeth now. Be like some sort of what's it called? Lamprey. I'll be a lamprey. Have you seen them? It's what one of the English kings died from eating a surfeit of lampreys. They're very horrible. They're just, the teeth all come out of them. They're very scary. Anyway, I might look like that by this time next week. Who knows? And they're just there's enough room for it to move anyway. So, I think one of the things they say when you get the thing is that you should probably rest for quite a long time afterwards. And I've only just started getting over it, so I should probably rest. And I've got to go to work anyway, so I should probably rest for the rest of the evening, because that might be the only rest I get for a couple of weeks. Now I'm worn out. Completely worn out, so I'll stop. So I'll see you next week, and hopefully I'll be feeling much better by then. But yeah, and I don't know how long this is going to take to heal, but like I said, I'm hopeful. Yeah, thank you, and who's that? Fingal, thank you, and hopefully I'm not going to be looking like a lamprey next time I see you, because that would be horrible. All right then, I'm going to see you next week. Bye bye now.